How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the show. Ben here, joined by Michael, as I so frequently am, to do a kind of a unique one in our sort of repertoire of artists that we've covered. Mike's choice, Lana Del Rey. I understand you're a bit of a closeted fan.
Yeah, I've been a low-key, long-term Lana Del Rey fan ever since that terrible Saturday Night Live performance she did about a decade ago. I was like, I don't know what this is, but I want to hear more of it. So ever since then, I have picked up every record she's ever put out as soon as it comes out, and I will continue to do so because I like her. She's cool and she's pretty.
And as of the time of releasing this video, Blue Banisters is not yet out.
No, it's supposed to come out 4th of July. And 3rd of July, she says, but I'm not putting it out yet. So we got to wait a little bit of time for Blue Banisters, but I will be adding it to my collection when it comes out.
Speaking of weird releases, did you see that shit about Kanye and Donda today?
I did. I was very, this is going to date the episode. Remember back when Donda came out? I haven't listened to it yet, so
Me neither.
We're going to have to follow up with our Kanye episode at some point to throw in Donda. Hopefully if it's better than, like, 5th, we're in good shape.
Yeah.
It can't be worse than Jesus is King, though.
No. It's long. It's like 27 tracks. So it's
Donda is?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
My sister told me, she's like, I was scrolling through and I was like, holy shit, it just keeps going. So we'll see. Maybe we'll do like we do our first impressions on that live or something. Anyway, we're getting off track. Sorry. Lana Del Rey, a bit of a polarizing figure. I think it's probably safe to say.
I would say so.
There's very few people who are sort of neutral on her, though actually, oddly enough, I counted myself among them. So I guess, I guess I'll lead us off this time since this was your pick. My number 7 is Lust for Life, 2017. While I can honestly say I was skeptical about this discography going in, there are a couple I really enjoyed, and then there are several that I did not. This falls into the latter category, unfortunately. This is kind of a non-starter for me, this record. I don't find that I have a ton to say. It's got some nice melodies. It's got some good vocal production. Her vocals are very hit or miss with me generally. This time, a few hits, mainly misses, and there's some nasty, cheap, tinny trap instrumentation that sneaks its way into this fucking project. Trap beats are like a disease in modern music. They just sneak their way insidiously into whatever could have been better without them, and it's true here as well. I don't like the Weeknd feature, mainly because I'm not a big Weeknd fan. A$AP Rocky. I don't really like A$AP Rocky. It's weird that they put his features back to back, and it feels like she's a back note to like those 2 tracks that he's on. It's kind of weird, but yeah, I don't like the goddamn trap instrumentals. That's the main thing. That's my memory of this album. And the lyricism on a couple of the tracks I thought was a little cringeworthy. Coachella, Woodstock in my mind.
Yeah.
Come on now. It's like it's trying a little too hard to be
That's not for me.
deep and meaningful. So anyway, that's my number 7.
Alright, so my number 7 is Honeymoon. There's some good stuff I like on here, notably Salvatore, which has always been probably my favorite song off the record from the jump. It's really cool. It's very relaxing. It's got like a Lolita feel, which I found and I find that it's a very frequent theme. It's a Lolita type deal with her. So
Yeah.
Salvatore is a total highlight. The single High by the Beach, that drone, is super cool. I like it. Music to Watch Boys To is another quality track. A lot like This Is What Makes Us Grow, maybe girls in a different sense.
Mm-hmm.
I do like Art Deco. It's another really cool droney track.
I like that one too.
And Swan Song, which is, it feels like something that's, her life is coming to an end, or she's kind of done with fame. Not her life, but her career is coming to an end. And, she doesn't care for the fame anymore. But at the same time, outside of those couple of tracks, Honeymoon shows that end that stands out to me. It stands out to me as special. Like, oh, this is what makes this album what it is. It's just kind of something that happened, and now it's over.
Alrighty. My number 6 has to be the debut. I don't know the full context behind this record. Did she have a brief stint under a different stage name?
Her name is Elizabeth Grant, and I believe she released something as something other than Lana Del Rey.
Lizzie Grant.
Her coming out as Lana Del Rey.
Okay.
So I just referred to it as AKA Lizzie Grant.
Yeah. All right. There's some good moments on here, it must be said. I feel like if nothing else, it has a consistent aesthetic and a voice. Now, whether you're a big fan of that voice or not, at least it cannot be said to be unfocused or, hit or miss or whatever. Loungy, understated production. I'm not a big fan of the early Lana releases, instruments and like the strings and the the percussion and all that stuff. It sounds a bit thin to me on the first few, though it would improve greatly as we go on. Raise Me Up is a nice change of pace, I noted, because it's almost heavy. There's almost like a certain heaviness to it, instrumentally, that you don't find a lot on what was otherwise kind of a pretty consistently even flow, one note kind of record or whatever. Kill Kill has a nice melody. Queen of the Gas Station has a really nice dark texture to it. I like that one as well. I can see why some would enjoy this a lot more than me, but for me, I'm just kind of room temperature on this one.
Okay. My number 6 is Lust for Life. I thought a lot about putting it into my number 7, but I find that I like the singles a lot. Love is a quality single. I know you don't like it because you don't like The Weeknd. I don't like The Weeknd either, but I find that their voices meld really well together in the title track. I really dig it. Climb with the H and the Hollywood sign is a sweet. If it is about Peg Entwistle, who's the person that jumped off the H of the Hollywood sign, that is a ridiculously cool reference and also a fucked up one at that.
I didn't know that.
So if that's the case, I really dig that. Cherry, another great track on there. My favorite track on the record is Beautiful People, Beautiful Problems. Stevie Nicks sounds great.
Yeah.
And just as with the Lust for Life, I find their voices meld really well together. As far as the other features go, I feel like the one with Sean Ono on Tomorrow Never Came is pretty terrible. I do not like it. I don't like Sean Ono's voice. I think the song is forced. Like you said, Coachella, Woodstock, in my mind, it's horrible. White Mustang's pretty bad.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
And Summer Bummer and Groupie Love are both pretty meh for me. But if I had to pick one gun in my head of those two, I'd say I like Groupie Love better. So yeah, Lust for Life is another one of those where I'm like, there are parts I like, but there's nothing about it that I love.
So my number 5 is Honeymoon. I'm sensing a theme here. Our lists are pretty similar so far. Yeah, again, the instrumental and the vocals here, perhaps a bit better produced, a bit more balanced than previous records, but just kind of a boring one again. I hate to say it. The title track, Honeymoon, is pretty cool. But then you got like Freak and Religion. And I'm like, these are just kind of underwritten, pretty bland tunes. Her vocals are hit or miss, as I said, and again, it's kind of a miss here, a big miss. I don't like the just blurry kind of, I don't want to say whining, but sort of just creaked vocals or whatever that she does on a lot of these things. It's cool when it's every once in a while and not every track after track, because that really grates on you. Because these aren't really short records. She tends to put out records on the longer side.
About an hour.
Yeah. And this one, I can't remember its length, but it felt long to me looking at this album cover, remembering listening to it. Yeah. Sorry, man. I just, the lyrics don't do much for me. The Baroque pop and the dream pop stuff works sometimes, but it just didn't hear for me. I wasn't huge on Honeymoon.
That's fair. Number 5, I dug this record. This is about where I started going, yeah, I'm into these. AKA Lizzie Grant, the debut. It doesn't really sound like Born to Die Lana. It doesn't really sound like what we would know Lana as. It's underproduced. But it in a lot of ways, it has like an Amy Winehouse vibe. It's a lot more jazzy inspired instead of orchestral. Raise Me Up is an interesting song. It's a nice alt rock track. She dabbles with a lot of different styles, I find.
That one was heavy.
This gives me like a whole kind of feeling. You know what I mean? She's like Courtney Love and that riot girl rock type deal. Mermaid Motel is kind of weak. That's the one track I was like, this feels sloppy and underwhelming. That's the one. Put Me in a Movie. Again, Lolita vibes. Feels a lot like a modern Billie Holiday type thing. I know that's saying a lot because Billie Holiday is, but it's got like that vibe to it of a Billie Holiday type mentality.
Yeah.
And then my favorite track on this record is Yayo, which was later redone on the Paradise EP. It's acoustic on this one. It's a lot more, lush and big on the EP later on. But I still like it's catchy chorus. I like the story, of going to Las Vegas from a trailer park. It's a lot of things I really dig are on Yayo. So that's my number 5.
Okay. I haven't heard that retooling of that song, because when you were like, one I really like is Yayo, I was like, really? All right. I mean, okay. I guess it takes a step up on the EP. I haven't heard that EP.
I gotta say, I dig the chorus, man. I dig the chorus.
Yeah.
It's catchy. I just found myself singing Yayo a lot the last couple of weeks.
So number 4 for me is Born to Die, 2012. We're getting into stuff that I can enjoy, I can appreciate.
What number you had?
4.
Oh, yeah, there's a 3. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, right off the bat, the title track is more beautiful and grand than anything she's attempted on the debut. Love the production. It's taken a big step up here. Unfortunately, that bleary mumble singing comes in on more than a few tracks here and diminishes my enjoyment somewhat. She veers a bit more into the hip-hop and R&B sounds. And boy, I hate video games, man. That's such a weird little... I just don't like it at all. From what I understand, that was pivotal for her.
Yeah, it's like her big song.
Yeah.
It was her big song.
Yeah, well, and good on you. I mean, she's talented. She deserves a record deal, but this one... I'm trying to think of other ones that I liked off this one. I like the sort of... I like National Anthem. That's okay. I like that one. Although I don't quite understand its commercial success in the context.
It was a single.
Yeah. Oh, well, there you go. I like the concept of the sort of middle century Americana type thing that's going on here on the album cover and on some of these tracks. I just feel like her work on the bottom half to majority of this list just needs to be a bit more diverse in the course of an album. When you listen to these as records, they're very one note to me. Right. You know, they bleed together quite a bit. That's why a song like Raise Me Up stood out to me as like, okay, here we go. You know, throw a few of those in there. Throw, something I mean, maybe that's not her goal, right? But as an album listener, a lot of these just kind of let me down in terms of variety, track to track to track. But from here on up, we're into stuff that I have a lot to like about it. So that was my number 4.
My number 4 is Chemtrails Over the Country Club, the most recent record. I really dig the title track. It's super minimalist instrumentals, but also the double track vocals on it. You know, I really like that. And it's like, it feels like a song about denial, you know, getting poisoned by aircraft as they fly over your head while you sit there in Pleasantville. Mm. I really dig Yosemite. It feels like a very understated acoustic guitar track. It's not a lot like Lana. It seems positive, and it doesn't have an orchestra. It doesn't have, trap beats in the back, or
Thank God.
Not super apparent. It's very relaxed. I really like Dark But Just a Game is maybe the most instrumentally diverse track, because it's got low guitars and snares, and it goes into piano when it gets to the chorus, and it comes back down. And then the cover of Joni Mitchell's For Free featuring Wise Blood and Zella Day is a really tight track. I really dig the cover. And Wise Blood, if you've never listened to Wise Blood, she's really, really good. She's super talented. Titanic Rising is one of the best records of the last couple of years.
That was a super cool record.
So when I first saw this record had a Wise Blood feature on it, I was like, well, that's the first thing I have to go listen to now.
Came out of nowhere, too. I'd never heard of anything that she'd done, but that was
Titanic, yeah.
Super cool, yeah.
But that's my number 4.
All right, my number 3 is Chemtrails Over the Country Club. We're within one pick of each other, I think, on this whole list so far.
Nothing crazy or hotly debated at this point.
Yeah, this one's pretty good. I think it continues in the vein of Norman fucking Rockwell. But perhaps is just a smidge weaker on the execution of what are very comparable, similar albums aesthetically and instrumentally to me, and production-wise. It's dreamy, it's well-performed. The instrumentation is a lot better than the ones earlier in her career, as they would be on Norman fucking Rockwell. I feel like this one in particular, and this one and Norman fucking Rockwell is like where she's really embraced her sort of shtick of mid-century, right, vaguely nostalgia. I don't want to... Shtick is unkind, but you know what I mean. Aesthetic, I guess, would be a kinder word for it, because I don't think she comes by it dishonestly. I think that's just the kind of music she naturally writes. But it felt like she was trying not to with Lust for Life and stuff like that, trying new sounds that just didn't really fit with the kind of music that she naturally wrote. Yeah, this one's on the shorter side, which I appreciate as well, if memory serves. It's only like 50 minutes or something, 50, I can't remember. It's about right, yeah. This one, while it was not very peaks and valleys, it was like 6 out of 10 the whole way through for me, It's like, I like it. I don't know that I'd be compelled to revisit it, but this one I like. And from here on up, we're into stuff that I like.
All right, so my number 3 is Ultraviolence, which is her 3rd record. First off, you got Shades of Cool, great record. I love how the first 90 seconds is kind of relaxed, and then it punches into the chorus. I love that part.
Goddamn cicadas over here making so much noise.
Cicadas still around?
Yeah, well, that one was. Jeez, that blew my eardrums out.
Brooklyn Baby is a nice satirical song about a pick-me girl. She's like, look, I'm not like most girls. I got a cool jazz collection, and my boyfriend's in a band. I dug that one. I love the the Lou Reed shout out because they were supposed to actually record a song for this record together, but Lou Reed had passed away.
Yeah.
The day they were supposed to record.
I really feel like they would have worked well together.
I do too. I really do too.
I didn't know that, but that would have been an interesting collab.
Fuck My Way Up to the Top is the song about another artist who stole her work and said she was not authentic, so it's like a jab back at them. And she has a line in there, "I'm a dragon, you're a whore," which I love. I get to where I want to go because I work hard. You get there because you suck a lot of dick. I'm like, all right then, sure. So I like the shade throwing in that one. And then I think the most fascinating track is probably The Other Woman. You know, it's spoken in the eyes of a mistress. It's like, you know, yeah, she's always beautiful and she doesn't have kids and her house is always nice because she's only in the dude's life when he wants to be around, like when he cares, but he's not tied to her.
Yeah.
And it's a very lonely track, and it's from a point of view I feel like we never see. Right, so
from a songwriting perspective,
that's got to be one of the most well-written songs she has in the entire catalog. The Other One, I'd say that's the go-to for me. So yeah, that's my number 3.
This is going to be the most similar list because my number 2 is Ultraviolence. So this one is a bit polarizing for people. From what I hear, people either come down the camp of, oh, I really love it, I love the lush production, all that stuff, and then there's the people who tend to be a bit more snobby about music and critical of listening to music who say, oh, it's just overproduced and it's too this, whatever. And I'm like, you know what? I can see that, but I think it works this time around. I think the lush production and the very rich instrumentation and the nice mixing is very good on this record. Because there's sometimes a lot going on and sometimes not a lot going on, but a song never fails to feel whole and complete instrumentally in the palette that they're using. Her vocals I enjoy on this record a lot more than I do on previous releases. I feel like she's not trying to work that crappy trap instrumentation and other stuff in there on this at all. It's gone. There's more variety in instrumentation. Everything's drowning in reverb is a criticism that I've heard, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's kind of true. But I feel like it's an enjoyable listen. It's about the right length, even though it's on the longer side. The title track, pretty cool, although got to take out that spoken word section. I do not enjoy spoken word sections like 95+% of the time. I feel like they
usually don't work.
They make me cringe. You know, it's like, oh, come on.
It's like, ooh, you're so brooding and deep.
I know. Who do you think you are? Come on. Yeah. Anyway, what else? Money, Power, Glory was pretty. Overall, this one I enjoyed quite a bit. I won't say I love it, but I think this is a good record and I like it.
All right, my number 2 will shock you. Norman fucking Rockwell is my number 2. From the moment I heard "Fuck It, I Love You" as a single, I was like, "This is gonna be something." Like when I like the single, usually it's a good start for the album. So you get to "Fuck It, I Love You," which is an amazing track. She does a cover of Sublime's "Doing Time," which I honestly prefer to the Sublime version. Yeah. I like her version. It's so cool. She's just so cool. It matches her aesthetic beautifully. It's great. It matches the subject matter because it's a really negative track. When you read the lyrics, like the Sublime version sounds really positive. Mm-hmm. Her version is just like, no, I'm in a shitty relationship and my girlfriend cheats on me a lot and I don't like it, but I don't like it. I go, no, okay. Hope Is a Dangerous Thing is another great track. And then my favorite line on that record is when she talks about writing in the walls with her blood because her pen doesn't work. That's a great line. I love that line. And then The Greatest is another really cool track about, you know, how her career continues to progress, and meanwhile she has all these personal responsibilities that she references things like wildfires in California and ballistic missiles aimed at Hawaii and colonizing Mars, like problems we face as a race and as a society. You know, it's all, you know, it's real. It's not just I'm touring and I have adoring fans and it's stressful. There's other problems in the world right now.
Yeah.
So that's another really good track I like. Norman fucking Rockwell is finally when the critics and the commercial side of it, the fans, finally came and met after forever. And I was so happy to see it happen.
Well, you probably know that's when I came aboard. Yeah, that's the one that stood out to me. I had a girlfriend who was really into Lana Del Rey when we were in high school, which would have been the debut Born to Die before Ultraviolence, because that was the year we graduated. And at that point, I really wasn't on board. Right. Yeah, but I listened to Norman fucking Rockwell when it came out. And obviously now, you know, by power of deduction, that's my number 1. This is a remarkably similar list for us too. We ranked all of these pretty much within a spot of each other. We were dangerously close to having the exact same list. That's funny. Yeah, no, this is a great record. This was where I feel like balance is a great term for it, both between her stylistic influences with Jack Antonoff on production, balance, the collaborative feel of that works great, but also with the instrumentation and the aesthetic choices. It doesn't feel, to me, Ultraviolence level of dreamy and blurry and bleary, and it also doesn't feel debut Lust for Life trying to do something that isn't really naturally in her wheelhouse to me musically. Doing Time is a weird inclusion, man. You liked that one. I thought that was kind of a weird inclusion.
It's a very weird inclusion, but I like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not terrible. I just when I was like, it took me a minute is that the Sublime song? I was like, oh shit, yeah, that's right. Okay. Probably my favorite song of hers on my favorite album of hers is Mariner's Apartment Complex.
Yeah.
Love that song. Beautiful as hell. Probably her single most lyrically memorable, well-written song. That was one where I was listening to her sing, and I was actually like, wow, that's a really well-crafted couple of verses there and a chorus and all that stuff. Love that. Production, again, beautiful. The Greatest and Venice Bitch is all right. I like both of those. And the whole record as a whole doesn't really have any major potholes for me. Doing Time, I guess, would be the one that I didn't enjoy, but it's not like it's a bad song by any means. I just thought it was, yeah. And the record as a whole is a good listen as a record. It works well. There's a few changes of pace that are very welcome, and the whole thing doesn't feel as one note as how I perceive most of her other catalogs to be, in all honesty. So, yeah, that's my number one. I assumed it was going to be, and after hearing all of them, yeah, it's my number one.
My number one is Born to Die, the original commercial success. You have, obviously, Video Games, which is, the big single that brought her to prominence. You have Diet Mountain Dew, which I love the You're No Good For Me, and I love it's a little bit overproduced, but I still love the chorus of it. It's super cool. Born to Die is really great. National Anthem is another track I really like. It gets a little bit rough towards the back end.
It's a little too long.
But those first 8 or 9 songs are really, really good. That Off to the Races is like a crime comedy. It's like Bonnie and Clyde with a little bit of Lolita put in there. But it is the chorus. It's just a great track. And Blue Jeans is another one I really like. There's so much about Born to Die in terms of the tracks that I go, yeah, I'll go back to that one and that one. All of them really I dig, at least to an extent, some meaning.
It's been a busy night out here tonight. With a helicopter and cicadas, and there was a house fire when we first started.
Carmen's kind of trash. There's the one song in the record I'm like, this is not good, and I don't want to listen to it anymore. The rest of it I quite dig. So Born to Die is my number one for Lana Del Rey, who I am a huge fan of.
So I'm mistaken. That's our biggest difference. I put that at like 4, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is by far the biggest difference.
Did you hear that at the time? We would have been like juniors in high school.
Yeah.
Did you? Okay.
I listened to her since I was in high school. Yeah. I was like, oh, this is quality shit. I'm gonna keep listening to it.
This was an interesting one.
Definitely not in the same wheelhouse.
Yeah. I enjoyed listening to this discography just because I was so unfamiliar with most of it, and that's always kind of a joy to discover an artist and really sit with them and learn about them, read a little bit about them while I'm listening to their work. So, yeah. If I'm being honest, not a discography that I'm crazy about, but there's a couple in there that I think are very good. My top 2, especially, I think are both really good records. So yeah, that was a pretty good one. It was an easy one. 7 records in and out, good stuff.
I'm so traumatized from Genesis still, I think.
Well, good thing I didn't have you do Rush with me. I had Matthew do that one.
Probably die. Maybe one day we'll do Bob Dylan and 39 records.
I'd be game. I'm trying to talk Matthew into doing Black Sabbath with me, and that's 26 records, I think. It's even more than Rush. So it might be a while before you see Matthew on the channel again. He's gonna be cloistered away listening to a ton of Black Sabbath records, of which there are several bad ones. So that's gonna be a rough one. But
so I think we said it last time. But what's up next? Reiterate.
Yeah, sorry, we were gonna shoot these back to back, but scheduling got in the way. So next up for us is gonna be Blink-182. Probably as far stylistically as you can get from Lana Del Rey.
I tend to agree.
Goofy and high energy and
I like them both.
Irreverent. So I figured that would be a pretty easy one to do as well. So look out for that one. But for now, Mike, thanks for joining me. Thanks for watching.